And now it's time to move on to Mission 2, where you'll be using Sami this time. This one's basically a tutorial on other troop types. This line coming up here, yeah, that pretty much sums up tanks. And the enemy does have quite a few tanks in their possession here. Yeah, of course, Nell appears out of nowhere to give some more tutorial. And this mission also is a tutorial to capturing properly. Yeah, so basically, the more HP the capturing unit has, the better. You can only capture using foot soldiers. So that's just infantry and mech units in this game. Days of Ruin introduced bikes, which are basically just mobile capturing troops. Ah yes, the tutorial on defense provided by terrain. Would be familiar to people who are watching my Fire Emblem playthrough when I often attack from woods, but in this game, terrain always just gives bonuses to defense. There's no kind of evasion or anything. In fact, something that's often seen as a plus for people like me, mainly, is that Advance Wars is pure strategy. There are absolutely no luck elements involved in it, at all. Unless you're playing as Nell. But in that case, luck always benefits you. And as you'll notice, Flack said that infantry will take 10 off a building when capturing, but that infantry just took 15. That's because Sami's infantry capture faster than normal. She's this game's infantry specialist. And basically, capturing cities increases the funding you get every turn, which is really, really useful. Because without a lot of cities, you won't be able to create this very strong units. Of course, you don't actually get to create units of your own in the campaign for quite a while, so at the moment that's kind of useless. But anyway, this is a mech unit, who are basically bazooka using infantry. They are pretty good against tanks, but you need to get first strike on them. And the thing about mechs is they have very low ammo. They can only fire their bazookas 3 times before you need to resupply them. But Sami's mech units are actually very, very useful because of the attack bonus she gets on infantry. In fact, Sami is particularly good at a certain tactic known and hated by a lot of Advance Wars players, the Mech Rush, or Mech Flood, which is basically where you create nothing but mechs and just spam them and charge them all at the enemy. The problem with mech units is they have low movement, but of course Sami can get around that when she uses her CO power, which we will get to later because you don't get to use them now. And this is artillery. Something to note about this game, artillery are indirect units. Even though the majority of soldiers in Advance Wars seem to use long-range weapons like guns, most of them still have to attack from right next to their enemies. It's only artillery, and later on we'll be introduced to some more powerful indirect units that can attack from long range. Of course, they can't counterattack at all, so you need to protect them. I'd recommend keeping them behind a unit like a tank. Yes, and when on allied properties, units recover HP, but what Nell doesn't tell you is that actually costs money. Every 1 HP recovered costs 10% of the unit's total cost. I don't think we need to do that at this point. Oh yeah, those are your money, basically. But that doesn't come into play until later, when you can actually create units. And now Nell's gone, so there'll be no more annoying tutorial. But it seems the enemy's got 2 tanks coming towards you. So this is where I'd recommend a tactic that I like to call the tank artillery roadblock combo. Basically, you put a strong unit like a tank, well, in this case I have to use a regular tank, medium tanks are better. But anyway, so that when the enemy comes in and attacks it, you then strike with the artillery. Like so. This is a pretty good defensive combo. Also, you may need to use it offensively when you're attacking an enemy headquarters and their units are all bunched up. Yeah, Sami's direct combat vehicles are slightly weaker than normal. That's her weakness, basically. So they're best used for finishing off things, rather than just direct attacking. Now it doesn't matter that the tank's got damage, because we can just, you know, attack with the artillery. And when you have more than one tank, it's a good idea to replace your road blocking unit once it gets damaged a bit. Normally infantry don't do as much damage as 75%, but Sami's are special. It may not seem like that much now, but Sami's capturing abilities really come into their own in the War Room missions. Any standard game, really. She is by far the best character at rushing the enemy headquarters and capturing it, which you really need to do in some of the harder War Room levels. Her CO power actually helps in this way too, and is one of the most devastating in the whole game. But I'll mention that later. Now to finish off these weakened infantry, and all there is that annoying APC. Yeah, a tank from anyone else would have done a lot more than that. But that APC is pretty much doomed anyway. You always got to keep an eye out for that one unit that could slip by you, because that could turn a... well, it could make a game last a few more turns than it normally should have. And that could downgrade a potential S rank into an A rank sometimes. I reckon Mech could have done it on its own, but I'll just weaken it with the tank first. Sami's mechs are pretty powerful. See, 81%. And that wraps up this mission. This kind of stuff isn't actually Sami's specialty. The next Sami mission really shows off her particular skills. You won't actually see me use Sami all that much in the campaign. That's because most of the missions aren't really suited to her abilities, but don't think because of that she's a worse character than any of the others. She's really at her best in War Room. She's actually one of the best characters in the game there. In fact, for some of the harder missions, you're pretty much forced to use her if you want a good ranking. And next up is Max's first mission. See you then.